Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, y'all? How could I not be? All right. Day 21. Okay. So I have all this brand new technology, right? And we will hit 10-minute segments. We will do 10 meditation, 10 writing, and 10 reading. Feel free to do more this morning, obviously. And we will be done out of here by 5:50. Sound good? Morning, cuz. Morning, Mr. Hopkins. I see you. Good morning, everyone. We are here. We are ready to go. Morning, Liz. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Who else is with me? Andrea, good morning. Good morning. Beans, good morning. Welcome. I put lotion on today. You can't clown me today. For everybody out there who doesn't know, we are on day 21. I'm reading Tony Robbins' Unbreakable Financial Success book. It should be actually a lot of good conversation. I'm still in the Ford. And seeing that we are doing 10-minute sessions today, I'm probably not going to get through it. Or maybe I will. So we'll have plenty to talk about. I have a really interesting thing that happened to me last night. I was out shopping, getting some updated equipment just to make it all easier and more clear for me. So obviously the mic, I got an HD camera to have a clear picture, just to make the experience just a little bit more enjoyable for all of us, right? But so we'll go into our we're gonna go into our reading section here. Let's get this taken care of. Thank you guys for holding me accountable. I'm really happy about it. I think we have something very, very great here. I really don't think you guys understand how much I appreciate it. Okay. Mm-hmm. This book is interesting. I think I'm going to keep reading. Executive Decision. Okay. I think this is a good place to stop. So, I think by the end of this book, we're all going to be multimillionaires. It's supposed to teach us how to be unshakable, which, if I might add, is the very, very, very important concept to living a successful, stress-free life. I'm definitely in alignment with that. I'm feeling the vibe today. I want to talk about a few things. Perfect timing. So to be unshakable essentially means that you have an unwavering confidence even amidst the storm. So even during times when crazy things are happening all around us, right? We have two choices: frantically be crazy and be swallowed up by all of that energy, or we can pull ourselves out, collect ourselves, center ourselves, and pretty much not allow those type of things to affect us. That would translate into a space of what I was talking about with Gentlemen on the Freeway. You can't allow chaos, right, to affect who you are and like how you respond to situations in life. So being unshakable is finding out that you're going to lose your job, or finding out that there's somebody at work that doesn't like you and they're making your life a living hell. Finding out that, there's people in other states, being injured by a supposedly deranged person. How do you respond to that? Do you respond in hate? I saw a lot of hate. I saw a lot of people angry at what happened and what happens around the world and people's life situations all the time on Facebook. But being unshakable is simply having that fundamental understanding that there's nothing that can rock your boat. And you may get rocked for a little while, like maybe, a few minutes, if that. But then you always find a way to pull yourself back onto, to pretty much stabilize your boat as you continue on your life journey. So this book in particular is pretty much going to cover and go over like certain financial tools that he talks about here. So he's going to give us financial tools. He's going to give us educations that'll pretty much allow us to peel back the layers of confusion or ignorance that we have about the financial world. Now, I say ignorance because when I was 18, nobody was really talking about selling real estate. Nobody was talking about building a real estate portfolio, right? Nobody was talking about stocks. Nobody was talking about these things. Very few people talked about credit, right? I got my first credit card when I was 18, and I've been working since I was 15 years old, actually, picking up garbage on the freeway. But my point is nobody really talked to us about this stuff. So imagine, like, when we were 18, somebody was like, hey, if you make X amount of dollars, and you save and you do that consistently, you go out and buy a house. And back then, buying a house isn't like it is today. You're talking about 2008. And so I think the ignorance of all that stuff being peeled back in this book will be awesome for us, because if the masters of this world, because what he did was essentially he went around to all the different people around the world, because he said, I want to be educated and I want to know what the future economy is going to be like in the US and around the world. He says people in Switzerland, or the government in Switzerland, have negative interest rates. negative interest rates, and we're over here complaining about 5% or 4%. Not to mention interest rates have been at 12% at one point in time on the traditional, residential level. And so negative interest rates would mean that I'd be paying a bank essentially to hold my money. So it's like that hasn't been seen ever, according to Alan Greenspan, like in 5,000 years. So my point is he's going to unlock more possibilities, right? To thinking about all of this stuff. And he went around to all the masterful geniuses around the world, financial planners, and pretty much wrote a book. He just went straight to them, asked them questions, interviewed them, compiled all the information into a book, and now he's sharing it with the world. And so it's pretty awesome. He mentions it all the time in his speeches, Tony Robbins. But I went to Fry's yesterday, right? I was up pretty late. I was up probably till like 11:30 last night. And but I went to Fry's and I was shopping around, right? Shopping around, looking for some more equipment or what have you. And I got to the checkout desk and I had a Chromecast. Right? And if you don't know what a Chromecast is, it's actually a pretty cool device. You can stream things from your computer to your television or from your phone to your television, all through pretty much an app, Google Chromecast. And so I put my bag, and my lady put her bag and her jacket inside of the kid sitting, compartment. And so I forgot that the Chromecast was under there, right? Because I was asking all these questions and looking at some other things. And I don't shop much, so when I go to the store, I get pretty excited. And they're like, "What is this guy? Ask so many questions." So I got outside and I went outside the store, and then someone was like, "Hey, did you pay for this?" And I looked around. I mean, the Chromecast is like $50, right? And I was just like, "Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think I did." And I was like, "Crap." So then I looked at the receipt and I seen that I didn't pay for it. I was like, "Well," and I paused. I was like, "Oh no." And I said to myself, "You have been blessed beyond measure. You remember the hard times?" And it all flashed in my mind in an instant. I said, "I remember the hard times. I remember when the energy in the universe didn't give up on me. I remember my blessings." And I immediately fell to a place of gratitude. So I walked back in the store to go pay for this item, right? I'm free and clear. I made it out. Like, you can't tell me anything. I'm going to go and enjoy my Chromecast. And I went back in the store, and the lady, because it was closed, right? We were there until after hours. And she was, "What's wrong?" I was like, I forgot to pay for this. I didn't know it was in my cart. And she's like, so the door checker's probably like, "Well, why'd you come back? You better get me in trouble." It's like in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, well, why do we have door checkers, right? Anyway, so I went back to the register and I was like, "Hey, I forgot to pay for this. My bad." And nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. They seemed to say, I won't even say that, but no, it seemed like nobody cared. Like, they all looked at me like, kind of like, "Why would you bring this back?" And I was confused yesterday. I was really high confused. So I called a couple people around me, and I was just like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" I returned this. I went and paid for this item after I had accidentally taken it out of the store, and then it seemed like nobody really cared about what was going on anyways. And then it had me thinking. I was just like, did I do the right thing? Well, of course, because the immediate feeling of gratitude and not, and being blessed in so many different ways, and just being grateful for that. Like, I don't even want to disrupt that frequency to any stretch of the imagination, right? Because it's such a beautiful thing, and they'll keep coming, like, regardless of whatever decision I would have made. But my point is the respect that I have toward it, I think, was a lot bigger than obviously this, this device. And, karma is a good thing. So I think that it's always important for us to, live our lives as morally as possible, because we have to live with it. And our subconscious picks up on that, like I mentioned a week ago. And people can feel it when you're honest. And then it got me back to a time where when I was working 16 hours a day, and this will be my last point before we hang up with one another today. And I was living in an apartment at the time, and I was super tired, beat dead tired, 16, 18 hours a day, getting up super early, just working my butt off. And waking up at 3 a.m. actually to drive Uber. And I got home and I put my laptop on the back of somebody's truck in the parking place, in the parking lot. And I totally forgot about it. It slipped my mind. And that I even put it there because I was so tired. And then I ended up walking to my unit, and I, went to sleep. The next day, I woke up and I realized that it wasn't there. And I was like, oh, crap, in my house. I was like, oh, crap. But I had a feeling within me that was just like, don't worry. Don't worry. It's gonna show up. It's going to show up. So I called my brother Ali, and I was like, yo, I said, man, I lost my computer. What do you think? Should I go buy a new one? And he was like, nah, bro, I think it'll show up. Now, we're talking about like $1,000 device, MacBook Pro, right? With like a mouse in there, Bluetooth mouse, like, probably almost $1,100, including tax, worth of equipment. And sure enough, 3 days later, I got a call from a lady named Renee, and she was like, hey, I found your boxes on the back of my truck. So that means it had stayed there overnight, all day the next day, and then was picked up. Because by the time I realized it was like midday, and then when I went out there, obviously it was gone. And so it just brought me back to that place too. And I was just like, yeah, like how did I feel, for somebody to call me and return something to me that actually was like a part of my livelihood, something I really, really needed. So it just goes to show that, just we have to live our lives the best way that we can. And with simple opportunities like that, we have to, execute on our moral behalf at a higher degree, even when nobody's looking. So very shocking, though. Another thing it had me think about, too, last point, was how people treat business. So I know it's a company, it's capitalism and all this, that, and the other, and they make tons of money off of us. And to a certain degree, we make our money too, building our businesses and buying and reselling things. So it's not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination, but the amount of care that people and how people would treat your business once we blow to a point of corporation levels. And it had me thinking, like, how do you mitigate, or how do you, I don't know. The can of worms is so much bigger than what the reality was and the situation was, but it just had my mind racing. Like, how do you lead people in a way where they'll take those type of things, but maybe the $50 doesn't matter, right? So I don't know, who knows. But anyways, I'm gonna send her some more this morning, and I'm gonna enjoy my day. Today's gonna be a fantastic day, and I hope that everyone checks out the page, The Journey to Greatness, because the video editing, we did it yesterday, the intro, me and my brother Michael, and it's gonna be pretty cool. And so we're trying to take this thing to the next level, but I don't want to move too fast because I'm excited. I'm just like, man, I want to get to a point where we can invite everybody over, and anybody who lives in the area could just come and sit in circle, and we can really be community for an hour and 15, or whatever we need to do to make it worth it for people to drive. But my mind's just racing. So, so much to do and so much time for us to do it in. So please join me tomorrow at 5 a.m. I would love to, have everybody here. Thank you for my accountability partners. who reach out to me, and for everyone who is joining us on this journey. There's a lot of surprises to come, so pay attention for day 30. We haven't started our fasting yet, but I think that's going to come soon. I just want to read more on it, like outside of our sessions here in the community morning. But once I figure out a little bit more of like what the mindset requirement is, then we'll go from there. There's this other thing called Vipassana. Boom. Thoughts are just downloading in me. There's this program called Vipassana. Vipassana is a 10-day retreat that they have down in Vancouver where you don't have your phone, you can't talk to anyone, and you can't leave. And you pretty much, you're there with people. It's completely free, so it doesn't cost anything. But at the end, you donate amount of money if you feel the need to, or if you feel like it's worth it. And then pretty much you come out transformed. So the only thing you have is yourself and your own intellect and your own thoughts and your own inner processing and everything like that. They feed you, they give you somewhere to sleep, and it's pretty amazing. So that's another thing down the road that would be cool if we could all get accepted as a group, or at least if everyone could experience it at one point or another. So many thoughts, again, so many things to do, but so much time. Again, I love you guys so much unconditionally, and I look forward to joining you guys tomorrow at 5 a.m., and continue on this journey with us for day 22 at the Journey to Greatness. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day. Oh, and go work out. We're going to start having those Snapchat videos for working out here for the intermittent sessions. I'm getting better and I'm healing, so that should happen here in the next week. And yeah, we'll be good to go. So love you guys. See you later.